After buying the house, I removed the old and impractical kitchen, and this exposed a very serious problem that until then had not been visible. In the corner of the kitchen, behind the paneling, there was dry rot, and lots of it. So I then removed nearly all the interior paneling in the house to check the rest, and that revealed that the dry rot wasn't just in the kitchen. It ran from the foundation of the house, under the kitchen floor, all the way up to the ridge of the roof. Basically, one whole corner of the house had pulverized, was crumbling and gone. Our dream house had just turned into a nightmare. We knew the house had some problems. It's 150 years old. It's a wooden house in a harsh climate, in the middle of a forest. It would be very naive to think that we could just move in. About 10 or 12 years before we bought the house, they had a whole roof replaced, including the chimney top. That's quite a big and expensive job, so we were happy it already had been done. We later found out that the old roof had been leaking for many years, and this was causing all the problems. The walls are made up of several layers. From the outside in, the first layer are these wooden planks in a distinctive red color. Then there is some sort of fabric to keep out the wind. This is followed by a thick layer of sawdust used as insulation, and then the massive wooden beams. Even though it doesn't look like it, our house is a log cabin. The inside of these logs is then finished with chipboard and wallpaper. The ceiling is covered in a thick, almost cardboard-like paper with lots of sawdust in between the floors. The leaking roof got the sawdust wet, and that was the beginning of all the misery. Getting to the rotten bits was not a fun job. Working on the ceiling made the 150-year-old sawdust fall down, creating thick clouds of ancient dust, covering everything including my eyeballs and the inner lining of my lungs. There was tons of the stuff. Every cavity was filled with it, and by the time I shoveled most of it out of the house, all my cavities were also filled with the sawdust. And then there were the mouse droppings. Thousands of droppings in every nook and cranny, in closets, behind and under every piece of furniture. 50 years of nearly undisturbed mice parching all winter long. To be honest, I was done with the house at that point. I needed time to sort things out and see if she was worth fixing up. Sometimes it helps to take a few steps back, and instead of focusing on all the bad things, Look at the good things the house has to offer. I am convinced that when you buy a property like this, you are buying the location more than the house. And a house can be made to suit you, but where it is a given and cannot be changed. And this house is in a fantastic location, in a great area. So I stopped looking at the problem and started looking at solutions. Apart from the corner from hell, the rest of the house appeared to be in exceptionally good condition. A few rough spots, but nothing very drastic. After contemplating the whole situation for a few months and with renewed courage and energy, I returned to the house to start to repair the damage, only to discover that the forest in which the house stood had been cut down. Our house has its own forest. When you step out the front door, all the forest you see is ours, all the way to the lake. But the back of the house borders on someone else's property. A fairy tale-like mature pine forest. No houses, no people, just big beautiful trees, which now been felled. Heartbreaking, but this is Sweden and this is what they do. To be honest, at first I was quite upset to see this wasteland, but to my surprise, very soon something magical happened. The house was suddenly in a very sunny spot, great for solar panels, but there was also more light in the house. It became an even more pleasant place to be. There were far fewer mosquitoes, and as the barren ground quickly got covered with herbs, flowers and berry bushes, there were more butterflies and other insects, which brought more birds. We even had a family of great tits nesting in the ridge of the roof. When it was time for the chicks to leave the nest and explore the world, one of them found it all a bit exciting and stayed in the grass next to the van. Eventually it flew off to chase an insect and hopefully it's doing well. Another species of bird that was attracted to the house was a woodpecker. I guess you can't have everything. I've now started rebuilding the demonic corner and it's a great opportunity to change the downstairs layout, making it more open and practical. But it is a lot of work and more on this in the next video.